flight trajectory is consistent with impact somewhere in the continental United States.
Holy shit.
I'm drawn to provocative characters that find themselves in extreme situations. And I think I'm drawn to that consistently.
What are you doing? I'm gonna die. I wanna die comfortable.
These are men and women who are walking toward what you and I and perhaps the rest of the world would run from.
Why would you want to become a cop? I like to slam people's heads up against walls.
I am interested in high impact, movie making. I like to feel a kind of an adrenalic response to the screen.
You stop!
Danny boy! Describe what Marcellus Wallace looks like.
The first woman ever
To win an Academy Award for directing.
Kathryn Bigelow!
I imagined I would paint my whole life. I grew up in the San Francisco area. I started painting at around, 6, 7, and loved it. Completely immersed in art, and went to the San Francisco Art Institute once I graduated from high school, and then went to New York.
It was the mid-'70s, and just sort of looking for other mediums to use, and stumbled on film, really, kind of backed into it, and started making these short films.
I stumbled onto a midnight screening at the Bleecker Street Cinema of a double bill, Mean Streets and The Wild Bunch.
And that was the end of painting. It's a very seductive medium. And then the films got longer.
I don't see them as genre pieces per se. I see them really all as character studies.
But I am interested in characters put in extreme situations, obsessive situations that are unfamiliar.
You want the ultimate, you gotta be willing to pay the ultimate price. It's not tragic to die doing what you love.
In terms of Hurt Locker, what really attracted me was the psychology. They arguably have the most dangerous job in the world, yet they're there by choice. It's an unimaginable courage that they must possess in order to do what they do on a daily basis, 10, 12, 15 times a day.
How many bombs have you disarmed?
873.
873. 873.
According to the bomb text, at 50 meters to the IED, generally you're thinking about your family. You're having many reflective thoughts, trying to kind of come to peace with who you are and what you're about to do. At about 25 meters, they call it the point of no return. Nobody other than your own wit and ingenuity can save you if anything were to go wrong.
James! James, come back now!
It takes an extraordinary individual, in my opinion, to be able to withstand that kind of pressure.
Oh, boy.
They're walking toward what you and I would run from.
This is going to be over in a minute, right? At the end of our shift, we're going to be on our way home. You, look at me. You're going to have a stop at that old jewelry store, right? When you look back at this drama, this is going to be the second most exciting thing that happened to you today. Right?
Right.
It has to be credible, plausible. It's gotta be truthful.
I think any story, certainly one with elements of the fantastic, you have to believe it. You need to find and mine the reality of it, or you're not being true to the moment, and then everything suffers. I mean, there was no place where the material is kind of winking or nodding and saying this isn't serious. We took it very seriously. And so we were on that journey.
You slap me if I'm sleeping because I want to wake up.
Guess what?
Who the hell are you people?
I'm not your friend. I'm not gonna help you.
I think I sort of, now anyway, try to work at that intersection of entertainment and journalism. There's, as the film shows, some enhanced interrogation techniques at the beginning. Certainly based on our research, that's part of this story. And to have eliminated it would have meant we would have been whitewashing that story. Whatever means they were utilizing, just peel back the curtain and show an audience what it would be like to be at the center of this operation.
You don't know Al-Qaeda! Either give me the team I need to follow this lead, or the other thing you're gonna have on your resume is being the first station chief to be called before a congressional committee for subverting the efforts to capture or kill bin Laden.
It's my responsibility as a filmmaker, if I'm presenting an environment that really exists, to be as authentic as possible. And we were invited to the battle deck at StratCom, to the White House Situation Room. And so my production designer and I would go in and just replicate it to within an inch of its life. We had multiple tech advisors who have worked in the Pentagon. I mean, they were with me every day we shot. The professionals who've dedicated their lives, some of whom have given their lives for our safety, and they, we know nothing about what they're doing. So I guess it comes from a kind of curiosity and a tremendous sense of respect and responsibility. I believe that the medium can be very experiential. My intent was to put the audience in as close to an experiential situation as possible. In other words, I wanted it all to be shot with as much movement as possible, so that you're actually feeling the velocity that those people are feeling. And so we had to technically figure out how to do it and how to put the cameraman in the same situation as the actors are in. It just creates a sense of momentum that is sort of like the way the human eye perceives momentum anyway, as opposed to a static camera. We, meaning we in the audience, are actually watching and or experiencing a breaking and entering of a restaurant and then having to escape the cops which come. And in the course of this, it's a mad flight for your life. There was no existing equipment that would have enabled us to do it. It was too heavy, too cumbersome. So we had to build a camera in order to replicate this sort of quick, fleeting simulation of one's vision. Jumping from rooftop to rooftop, we had to install a huge crane and use a helmet camera. We found this extraordinary cinematographer, Barry Ackroyd, whose style and ability to create a documentary feel out of fictional material is probably peerless. He puts you right in the front seat. He puts you in the film. Barry doesn't want to see any blocking. It has to be completely unblocked. He's going to discover it with the camera. It's a little like nature photography, like you want to, where's the cheetah going to come from? Jeremy was very unnerved because he'd be walking around the Humvee doing a surveillance and there'd be a camera right there. It's okay. Then we'd do a second take. So Jeremy would come around, then the camera would be there or not there or whatever. It's kind of confusing. But once they get used to it, it's very freeing. Barry shoots where he'll light the entire set. We don't use marks, and the actor basically must come in and do their job. And so therefore, it's not like this kind of fake camera movement. It's genuine. I love it. Ever since Hurt Locker, I sort of learned it from Barry, to be honest. I find the more collaborative it can be, the more stimulating it is, more challenging it is, actually. I don't really have a method. I think I haven't done enough movies to have a method. I wish I did. But it's just very collaborative, and that's the way I work best, when there's a lot of back and forth. Is there a way to improve this? Is this maybe the best way to block it or choreograph it? I tend to be a bit shy, so I'm not going to just come in with, okay, do this, do that. I would never tell somebody what to do, to be honest.
So you agree with me now?
By saying you agree with me now sounds like we have a long relationship. At least how I read the lines, he's now agreeing that the substance of your request is important, but if you request it, it's important that he has to dignify it.
So you agree with me now? This is important.
No, I've just learned from my predecessor that life is better when I don't disagree with you.
Directing has so much to do with casting. And if you cast it right, let's say that's the right person for that part, you're not kind of forcing something to happen. It will happen naturally. That actor will embody the character. There's something in that person that's actually a quality that's also in the character. There's nothing more exciting than letting them own it, I think, and then stepping away.
Without me, you're nothing. Without you, I am nothing. Much is expected of us. We will not fail.
I do like to work with emerging talent. I've tried to do it consistently, and I think it's because there's a kind of trust that happens. I started in film with Willem Dafoe. It was his first film and my first film.
So what's it like in Detroit?
Couldn't tell you.
Thought that's where you're from.
New York.
You know, I'm from the theater, and that was my identity, but this made me love going with people to a place, creating something, and performing with a camera.
The thing is, if somebody comes in who has a tremendous legacy, let's say, it's a struggle to see that person for the first time as that character. And so it breaks down that vulnerability. And it's that vulnerability that I think is perhaps most interesting in the acting process and directing process, you know, and finding that trust. I think that the medium is capable of being informational and journalistic and topical and timely, and entertainment alone is just not enough.
What drew me to film predominantly was its ability to be this incredible social tool that you could reach masses of people on so many different levels.
I am very interested in film that can also be informative. In other words, that you could offer an audience an opportunity to learn something they didn't maybe already know. Maybe they do, but there's a chance that they don't. This travesty that took place 50 years ago, and yet feeling like it was taking place today, I thought that maybe shining a light on it, maybe a little bit of light goes a long way. Really give the audience a look at what it might be like to work in the intelligence community on a hunt this important. A day in the life of a bomb tech in Baghdad circa 2004. What would happen if a nuclear ICBM was headed toward North America? And then what would happen in the halls of power? Do you want to live in a world that's this combustible or not?
I think when films are most successful is when they're provocative, when they challenge your thinking, when they make you think about something.
You know, is it just something to eat popcorn by? That's probably going to be less motivating to me. But is it something that actually can cause you to walk out of the theater and think a bit? Maybe that's asking a lot, but it's a high watermark to aspire to.
The first woman ever to win an Oscar for directing.
After 278 years of movies and Academy history.
Kathryn, you know, I'm sure she'll be very ambivalent about this because she'll be of a mind that, wait a minute, I want to win for the work. I don't want to win because I'm a woman.
There's really no difference between what I do and what a male filmmaker might do. I mean, we all try to make our days. We all try to get the best performances we can. We try to make our budget. We try to make the best movie we possibly can. I think with a fair amount of tenacity, a little bit of luck, you too can embark on something that means a great deal.
Adios, amigo.